Hello, my name is Reverend Keith Butler of Logos Baptist Church here in the great city of Miami Gardens. This is the place where the Word comes alive. Welcome to another broadcast, and we pray that something is said today that will encourage you to follow Christ more dearly. And at the end of this broadcast, I'll come back with final words of thoughts and appreciations. Thank you. Hey, enjoy it. You're really going to enjoy it. This is the place where the Word comes alive.
Present yourself as a living sacrifice. Here's the final thing. It must be persuasive. It must be personal, perpetual, on and going, every day. But then finally, it got to be persuasive. Now listen, you can't fool God now. You might fool me, but you can't fool God. You can't in front of us act as though you're on the Lord's side. He know if you for real or not. He know if you just putting on. So you got to be persuasive to God. If you're really tired, prove it to him. How do you do it? Being persuasive means it's Paul said that's the least thing you can do. It's your reasonable service. Y'all see that? Reasonable? Reasonable means it's only logical. It's only rational. I mean, listen, the reason why it's rational and logical is because after all that you've seen the Lord do, not just in your life, but in other people's life, that's the least you can do. After all the times you prayed and asked God to bail you out, to help you out, to get you out of this one, to help you through that, to help you with the bills, help you with the children, and he does it over and over, the least you can do is allow him to use you. Tell your neighbor, that's the least you can do. Says that's your reasonable service. That's the least you can do. He says, if you do that, if you leave it, living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. Well, when is it acceptable? And I'm finished. How do you know that what I'm doing is persuasive enough? Here's how you prove it. Let's just say acceptable unto God. Here's the example I have. When Moses was told to take Isaac up to the mountain to kill him, and Moses told his other workers, said, listen, y'all stay here. Me and my son is about to go up and worship the Lord. Isaac gets up there with Abraham, and Abraham says unto Isaac, he says, Father, I see the wood. I see the rope. I even see the knife. But where is the lamb? Abraham says to him, son, the Lord will provide for us a lamb. He then tells his son to get on the sacrifice altar, ties his boy up, and as he gets ready to kill his son, as he had made up in his mind that he was going to take his boy out, the Lord sent an angel to stop him. And God says, now I know. I want y'all to follow me now. Here is how Abraham was persuasive. He tied his son up, laid him on the altar, had his hands up to kill him. And that's when the Lord said, if you're willing to go through all of that, I know that you are my child. Well, that's what I want to end with. If you're serious about your life changing, then there's some stuff you should be willing to do. There are some places you should be willing to go. There are some things you should be willing to stop doing. And in your effort to stop doing it, the Lord will see that you're for real. But you can't say, Lord, I'm serious today, and then tomorrow you go and quickly go back to that same place. Soon as you leave here, you still thinking the same way. Some of us can't even get out the parking lot before we start back cussing. The Lord said, but if you try, tell your neighbor you got to try. He said, if you try to give up that crack, try to give up the drink, try to give up the cigarette, try to give up these things that are hurting you, and I'll see that you are serious. Well, what will you do, God, if I try? If I do what you asking me to do? He says, here's what I'll do for you. I'll give you your life purpose. I'll make sure that your life have meaning. I'll make sure that what I do for you, it'll be beneficial to you. Not only will I give you life purpose, I'll give you life promise. I will make sure that everything I promise you shall come to pass. Tell your neighbor, he will give you a promise. He not only will give you life purpose, he not only will give promise over your life, but he also give you protection. He said, I'll make sure that even your enemies that will try to come up against you, that they shall stumble and fall. I promise you that if you give me your life, I will cover you in my blood. And when I cover you in my blood, the devil can't do you no harm. The devil might form the weapon. He might create the weapon. He might even shoot the weapon. The weapon might come towards you. But I promise you, with my protection, that weapon will not progress. Because he said, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Not only will I give you a purpose, not only will I give you promise, not only will I give you protection, but I also will give you a provision. He said, I will provide for you. Yeah, that's what I love about God. When you turn your life over to the Lord, yeah, he will also provide for you. So much so that if you ever find yourself in need, the Lord says, ask and it shall be given. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened. You have not because you ask not. He said, I'll give you the desires of your heart. If you belong unto me, he said, I'll give you provision. But he also says, after I give you purpose and fulfill my promise and give you my protection and provide provision, he said, expect promotion. I wish I had a witness in here. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, when you give your life over to God, you will never be the same again. He will make your life better, better and better. Is there anybody that know what I'm talking about? That ever since you gave your life over to the Lord, it ain't always been bed of roses, but every time you needed him, he showed up.
Thank you so much for sharing with us here at Logos Baptist Church. I really hope and pray that this word was challenging to your souls. I pray that if you're ever in the great city of Miami Gardens, you come by and share with us. Our address here in the great city of Miami Gardens is 16305 Northwest 48th Avenue. Our phone number is 305-430-9383. Our website, of course, you can check us out on the web, is www.logosfamily.org. Again, until we meet again, may God bless you, may God keep you, and most importantly, every time you open up that Bible, it's my prayer that the Word comes alive.